Hey everyone, welcome back to another CTS Archive video. In this video, I want to take a look at one slight variation on what we did last time. If you recall in the last video, we resed a basket and we put a bunch of the extra blueberry items in it from our inventory. And we put those into the archive cabinet and associated that with the existing blueberry entry inside of our wardrobe. In this episode, what I want to do is take a look at a very similar process to that. But this time, I want to look at it from the perspective of an actual box. So, if I jump into my wardrobe quick, you'll see that I've actually created an entry in my wardrobe for the CTS Archive cabinet that I bought. You don't have to just store clothing in your wardrobe. You can store anything, which I'm kind of demonstrating here. Now, it's still set to, able to be archived. Of course, I don't want to archive this. I just got it. But what I do want to be able to do is store the box that I actually got when I purchased this item alongside that entry in my wardrobe. That way, if I ever lose my archive cabinet or something happens to the copy that I have in RLV, I can always grab the box, open it up, and res a new one. So let's go ahead and walk through this process. Now, the process last time was to res a basket first and give it a name. In this case, I've already got a box. It's one item. I don't actually need another basket to put it in. Then I'd have to open the basket and then open the box in order to use it. I can just pick this box up, hold down my left mouse button, drag it over while holding down the control key, and drop it on my archive. Now it's going to give me the prompt again. Where does this go? This time, instead of my clothing, I'm going to choose gadgets. And just like last time with Blueberry, it's actually going to pop up and say, hey, do you want to associate this with something that's already in your wardrobe? Now, in this case, I do. And just like before, it's doing a search and trying to find the best possible match. If it doesn't find a good match, it will give you the best possible choices, but they may not be perfect. If it doesn't match exactly what you want, you can always click cancel here and it will just put the box directly into the cabinet. And we'll look at that and what that looks like in just a minute. But in this case, I did find a match, CTS Archive. I can click on that. And if I go back to my wardrobe now and refresh this page, you'll see that it's got that familiar archive box right there. So now I know that this archived entry has a box associated with it. All right, let's jump back one more time, and I want to do this again. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this same box. I'm going to drag it over, holding down control. I'm going to drop it in. Just like before, I'm going to go ahead and put it into the gadgets folder. But let's pretend now. Let's say that it did its search and it came up with some folders, or pardon me, some entries in wardrobe that did not match this. Clearly it does here, but let's pretend, let's make believe that it did not find a match. So I don't want to match it with something incorrectly. I can go ahead and click on cancel. And when I do that, it's going to still take that box and put it into the drawer that I selected. But it's not going to associate it with anything in wardrobe. Let me go into wardrobe and show you what that's going to look like. Now let's imagine that we don't have this entry here, that this didn't exist, or that I was not simply able to associate the two. What I can do, let me refresh my page again so I get the most recent stuff. What I can do is use this Search Archives button up here. And I can do that to search for anything that I think I have in my archive cabinets. So in this case, I'm just going to search for the word archive. I'll go ahead and hit enter. And you're going to notice here that it comes up with two entries. The first, obviously, is the actual archive that we did the first time, where we dragged the box and we associated it. So this is in our archive cabinet, and it's assigned to this entry. The second one, though, you'll notice has just this plain brown cardboard box to it. This is the one where I did not associate it with anything already in wardrobe. The important part here is you don't actually have to. You can archive anything you want, whether it's in wardrobe or not. If you don't have it tied to an entry in wardrobe, you won't see a specific picture for it, though, and you can't do things like tag it. As you'll notice, the only two options here are to retrieve it from the archive or to delete it altogether. And so that's a very important distinction between how you're doing these things. But there's really nothing that prevents you or stops you in any way from simply dragging a box in, putting it into one of your cabinet's drawers, and storing it there along with other related things, and then being able to use the search functionality on your wardrobe webpage to find and retrieve those items. So that's another look at what we can do with this archive cabinet. As you can see, it's a pretty big tool. It has a lot of options to it, and we're just sort of breaking the surface of some of the things that we can do here. One last video I want to do in this sort of introductory series before we get into some more advanced topics, and that's going to be looking at what happens when we retrieve items from our archive. So in the next video, we'll take a look at that process. Like, subscribe, click the bell if you want to get notified, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.